Because until its release it was one of the most unique works ever done. Traditional superhero stories had become stale and people wanted something darker and more grounded. Moreover, you could pick up the first issue and continue indefinitely. There was no need to ask which series to read before this one. The artwork was simple and understandable. Those who only watched the series were already captivated by the voice cast and the storyline. All of these and more may seem easy at first glance, but the creator of the series, Robert Kirkman, struggled a lot to achieve them. He learned from his mistakes and he wrote a fantastic story. Before our story, if you're new to the channel, do not forget to subscribe and like the video. The creator of the series, Robert Kirkman, wanted to leave his job and get into the comic business for a long time. He was unsuccessful for a long period, paying off the debt of one credit card with another. He worked with many people throughout his life and most of the jobs ended badly. He opened a company called Funkotron and published many comic books, but he kept losing money. He was about to give up and return to his previous job when his luck turned. He met Alec Larson, an important figure at the time, and suggested an idea they could work on together. Science Talk, which Mark loves in the series. Well, Larson did not like the idea, but he asked Kirkman if he would like to write a comic book about the Super Patriot. Kirkman's dreams were finally coming true. He would have a comic in Image Comics. But there was still a problem. It was not his character, and he didn't want to write the other people's characters. He continued to send his trials and drawings to the Image Comics, and all of them were rejected. Kirkman did not give up and finally he published a few comic books. The comics didn't sell well and most of them were cancelled until Invincible. The sales were a bit better, but it still seemed like it will be cancelled. He wanted to change the course of events in issue 25, but the series would not last until the 25th issue. So he implemented his idea in issue 7. It was darker and scarier than DC or Marvel could ever be. The course of events had completely changed. Well, truly, Kirkman's story is actually the biggest answer to the why Invincible was successful. This guy has not only succeeded in this job. When the Walking Dead comic books were released, they became quite popular, and they were adapted into TV series. This guy has been through a lot, my friends. His failures at one point taught him how to do the job. So, why could he find the readers for these two works among the other great comic books of that time? If you go to a comic book store today and start reading any Marvel comic book, you probably won't understand the story. You ask how things came to this point and go to the first issue. But even while reading the first issue, you have constant questions marks in your mind. Should I have read something before this? And yes, you probably should have. When you start reading the story before the first issue, you realize that you need to read its previous one. And this goes back to the 80s. It even reached a point where the writers have lost control and they don't know what they're doing. All you wanted was to read comic for 30 minutes. This was also valid for DC comic books. But Invincible and The Walking Dead were not like that. You will take the first issue and feel like you were in the collective story. You will see the development of the characters better and become more attached to them. Empathize with them. While seeing all of these, the comic book panels should not tire you. And they should be simple. The best thing Kirkman did was this. He divided the pages into small rectangles and showed what he wanted very clearly. As a reader of the series, you will see that the quality increased as the numbers progressed. In addition to art design, one of the most significant differences from other series was also the characters. We all know DC's Justice League. In the Invincible universe, there's also the Guardians of the Globe team. Justice League's Superman is a character who symbolizes hope and it's the best of the best. This persona now seems ridiculous to the readers because Invincible and the boys have changed and made it more realistic. Indeed, characters with such power would not bother protecting the world. They will be more bloody and ruthless like Omniman or Homelander. Traditions were no longer important and the people were open to the new things. Speaking of tradition, all superhero productions were repeating the same cycle. Someone gains powers, starts controlling them, encounters a surprise villain and defeats them. This cycle continues. Well, yes, Invincible also progressed similarly, but there are surprises and characters that make this cycle not repeat. and not get boring at all. Mark is like a more mature Peter Parker and managed to endear himself to the readers. Characters like Atom Eve and Alan the Alien support the main character and make themselves logical. Also, this series has truly hair-raising villains when you see them. Omniman's character development may be one of the best written so far. Characters are excellent, as I mentioned. Another aspect that makes the adaptation the best is the animation style and voice actors. A full star-studded cast J.K. Simmons alone is enough. The series is a lot of fun but has dark sides too. Although there are deep moments, the tone is very balanced. In short, familiar, unexpected, and empathizable. Well, of course, at the end of the day, all these reasons listed are my opinions. Robert Kirkman's success story not only overcomes financial difficulties, but also shows how important creativity and resilience are. The beginning of the Invincible series stands out by shaking off the superhero cliches most people are familiar with, and focusing on handling characters more realistically and complexly. For those who do not know, the comic ran from 2003 to 2018, totaling 144 issues in 15 years, and it's currently available as an animated series on Amazon Prime. You can also share your opinions about Invincible in the comments. Do not forget to subscribe and like the video. See you soon!